You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
Black and White sports fans, let's talk about Jon Gruden yet again. We all know about the email that he sent out back in 2011, 10 years ago, about DeMaurice Smith, NFLPA chief. And boy, Jon Gruden has been labeled a racist by pretty much everybody. The media is coming after him. They're trying to crush him. They're trying to end this man's career for something that he emailed 10 years ago. Now, guys, more information has come out, and we find out that not only was Jon Gruden talking about DeMaurice Smith in the email, he was critical of Roger Goodell and also other owners. However, we don't know exactly what those words are, but for some reason, it got out about what he said about DeMaurice Smith. I'm very curious why we don't know what he said about Roger Goodell and what owners he also criticized. So now this brings us to Randy Moss. Randy Moss on NFL Countdown was brought to tears by Jon Gruden's hurtful email. And I do mean he was absolutely brought to tears, guys. So we're going to be reacting to that, what he said in this video. So let's go ahead. I'm going to play the clip here. And this is pretty pathetic, man. It really, really is pretty pathetic. But let's go ahead. Let's play this.
Obviously, there's going to be a lot of emotional responses to this. Teddy, I hear you saying basically, if you were in that locker room today, you kind of just put your head down.
Okay. Here we're about to get into it.
And you think of him as the leader in terms of the decision maker, but not necessarily a leader you respect. I'm curious from your perspective, Randy, if you were in that locker room today, would you be able to play for him?
You know, to speaking to Teddy's point, you know, basically you hear us talk about we got work to do, we got a job to do, and that's to provide for our families. And Teddy hit it right on the head of just putting your head down and going playing football. You know, I speak about the game of football. I fell in love with the game of football, Sam, at 6 years old. And I get emotional talking about it because of situations like this. My civil rights were taken, were kind of messed with in high school over the color of my skin. And
now he's bringing up his experience and comparing it to this. Now, I don't know exactly what he's talking about. He didn't go into any type of detail on this at all. So I can't really comment on his situation. Just throwing it out there.
Now being able to play 14 years in the National Football League, to have something like this of a leader. We talk about leadership. We give guys these big contracts because they want to be able to lead 70 men, coaches, equipment staff, and managers to the number one goal, and that's to win a championship. And for us to be moving back and not forward in 21st century, like I said, man, National Football League, this hurts me. The clock is ticking, man. I'm sorry.
No.
I can play for you, but I'd rather not. Okay, I'd rather not do it, but if I have to do it, I will. And it's just because I have other people that I have to provide for, right? But I'd rather not do it.
Yeah.
But we've done it before in different situations. We are all mentally tough people in that locker room, but it's something you'd rather not do.
Yes.
So that's Randy Moss right there, brought to tears, and he says that we're going back in the 21st century. Now, remember, the email was sent in 2011. This wasn't recent. And I'm just so curious, guys, as to why we do not know what he said about Roger Goodell and the NFL owners. We only know what he said about DeMaurice Smith. And I believe this is deliberate, folks. This was put out there deliberately to ruffle up the racial feathers. There is no doubt about it, folks. Absolutely no doubt about it. Out of, I believe, over 600,000 communications in this investigation, this is the only thing that gets out. When Jon Gruden was critical of Roger Goodell And owners, this is the one thing that gets out, to really try to ruffle the racial feathers. No doubt about it. I truly believe that. If you do disagree with me on this, let me know. And Randy Moss coming out there on camera and crying, this looks pretty weak. I mean, I've heard much worse things than what Jon Gruden said. I'm not saying what Jon Gruden said, it was not professional. Make no mistake about it. It was not professional at all. Do I believe that Jon Gruden is a racist? No, I do not. I do not believe that. But I do believe there was an agenda to get this out there to everyone. So you can get the kind of reaction to this the way Randy Moss just reacted to this. That's the only reason why this came out. If Jon Gruden said something similar about Roger Goodell, which he probably did, because we know he was critical of Roger Goodell in this email, this would be a nothing burger. Nobody would have said anything. But since Jon Gruden, the white man, said something critical of a black man in DeMaurice Smith, this is put out there. This is the only reason why this has been put out there, folks. That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and white sports fans, Randy Moss crying on TV, super offended by what Jon Gruden wrote in this email. This was always the agenda when this leaked email was put out. This is the kind of reaction they wanted. This really does remind me of Kirk Herbstreit last year doing the whole woke Black Lives Matter thing out there crying on College Game Day. This is something very similar, if you ask me. Anyway, guys, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to Black and White Sports, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.